The unseen world of homelessness. A journey through reality and resilience. Sensational hook. What if every person donated just $5 to end homelessness? A small collective effort could create monumental change. Introduction. Falling through the cracks. Top country with the most homeless people. The country with the highest number of homeless people is India, with an estimated 1.8 million homeless individuals. However, due to underreporting and different definitions of homelessness, the actual figure could be significantly higher, with some sources suggesting up to 20 million when including informal settlements and rural. Homelessness. Total number of homeless people in the world. Globally, the total number of homeless people is estimated at approximately 150 million. This represents about 2% of the world's population. Additionally, over 1.6 billion people are considered to lack adequate housing, which includes those living in slums, informal settlements, or substandard conditions. What if one day you lost everything? Your home, your job, your identity. For millions, this nightmare is a reality. Homelessness is not merely the absence of shelter. It is the unraveling of a life, thread by thread. It's a world most people avoid thinking about because acknowledging it means confronting our own vulnerabilities. This is the story of homelessness, a harrowing yet inspiring tale of despair, resilience, and hope. Chapter 1. Who are the homeless? The faces we overlook. Homelessness isn't a monolith. It's a mosaic of countless lives and circumstances. It spans individuals, families, veterans, and even children. The family struggle. Across the United States, families account for 30% of the homeless population, often living in shelters or their cars. They face the impossible task of choosing between food and shelter. The forgotten veterans. After risking their lives for their country, 11% of the homeless are veterans, struggling with PTSD, lack of support, and reintegration challenges. Children in crisis. Did you know that the average age of a homeless person in America is just 9 years old? These children grow up without the stability of a home, impacting their education, mental health, and future prospects. Rare fact. In 2023, it was estimated that over 2.5 million children in the US experienced homelessness at some point during the year. A staggering number that rarely makes headlines. Sensational insight. A study revealed that 46% of homeless individuals work but still can't afford housing due to skyrocketing rents and stagnant wages. Chapter 2. The root causes of homelessness. Homelessness doesn't occur in isolation. It is the result of systemic failures, personal misfortunes, and societal neglect. Economic inequality. With housing prices soaring by over 70% in the past decade and wages remaining stagnant, the affordability crisis has pushed millions into homelessness. Mental health neglect. Over 25% of homeless individuals suffer from untreated mental health conditions. Without adequate health care, they spiral into despair. Domestic violence. Women and children fleeing abusive households often have no choice but to seek refuge on the streets. Shockingly, 50% of homeless women cite domestic violence as the cause of their homelessness. Systemic racism. In the US, Black Americans represent 13% of the population but make up 40% of the homeless population. A stark indicator of systemic inequalities. Rare fact. In Japan, many homeless individuals live in internet cafes, paying for 12-hour blocks of time to avoid sleeping on the streets. These hidden homeless are invisible to traditional statistics. Chapter 3. Life on the streets. Living without a home means more than just lacking shelter. It's a daily battle for survival, hunger and malnutrition. Over 500,000 homeless individuals in the US go to bed hungry every night. Weather extremes. Each year, more than 700 people in the US die from hypothermia or heat-related illnesses due to lack of shelter, violence and vulnerability. Homeless women are 10 times more likely to experience violence than the general population. And LGBTQ+ homeless youth face increased risks of assault and exploitation. Sensational hook. Cities worldwide are implementing anti-homeless architecture, such as spikes on benches and sloped surfaces, to prevent people from resting. Critics call it a cruel attempt to erase the visible signs of poverty without addressing its root causes. Rare insight. In New York City alone, it costs taxpayers $3,000 per month to house a homeless person in a shelter. Yet providing permanent housing would cost significantly less. Chapter 4. The Global Perspective. Homelessness is a global crisis, manifesting differently across cultures and economies. Finland's revolutionary approach. Through its Housing First program, Finland has nearly eradicated homelessness by prioritizing permanent housing over temporary shelters. India's struggles. With nearly 1.8 million homeless people, India faces unique challenges, including lack of documentation, making it impossible for many to access social services. The UK crisis. In London, rough sleepers are increasingly common, with homelessness rising by 21% in 2022 alone. Rare fact. In Las Vegas, a community of homeless individuals lives in underground flood tunnels, creating a hidden world beneath the bustling city. Chapter 5. Rare stories of survival. While homelessness is often associated with despair, it also showcases incredible stories of resilience. The man who changed a city. In Utah, one man reduced homelessness by 91% through a simple idea: give people homes. His approach saved millions in public funds while restoring dignity to countless lives. From the streets to stardom, celebrities like Chris Pratt and Halle Berry have openly shared their experiences with homelessness, proving that circumstances can change with perseverance and support. Sensational hook. Did you know that one homeless man in California created an entire art gallery on a street corner, showcasing his talent to passers-by? His story went viral, earning him a home and a career. Chapter 6. The Role of Society and Policy. Homelessness is not an individual failure. It's a societal one. Lack of affordable housing. Over 7 million households in the US are severely cost-burdened, spending more than half their income on rent. Healthcare gaps. Medical bills are the leading cause of personal bankruptcies, pushing many into homelessness. Insufficient safety nets. Welfare programs often fall short, leaving people without the support they need to rebuild their lives. Rare fact. Studies show that providing housing first reduces healthcare costs by 30%, as people with stable homes are less likely to require emergency medical services. Chapter 7. How you can help. Solving homelessness requires collective effort. Here's how you can make a difference. Support local shelters. Donate money, food, or time to organizations that assist homeless individuals. Advocate for change. Push for policies that prioritize affordable housing, mental health services, and living wages. Humanize the issue. Engage with homeless individuals in your community. A simple conversation can restore dignity and remind them they are not invisible. Top 10 countries with the most homeless people. Homelessness is a global crisis, but its scale and management vary widely. Here are the top 10 countries with the highest numbers of homeless people and some estimates. India. Over 1.8 million homeless people, though some estimates place this much higher due to underreporting. United States. Around 580,000 individuals were homeless in 2022, according to HUD. Nigeria. Approximately 24.4 million people face homelessness due to poverty and displacement. China. Estimates suggest 2.5 million homeless people in urban areas, though rural homelessness may be hidden. Russia. Between 1.5 and 3 million homeless people, with few shelters available. Brazil. Over 220,000 homeless, fueled by urban inequality and unemployment. Indonesia. Approximately 3 million, particularly in urban slums. Pakistan. Around 2 million people, with many displaced by natural disasters and poverty. South Africa. Around 200,000, exacerbated by historical inequalities. Philippines. Over 4.5 million, including those in informal settlements. Total homeless population worldwide. The exact number of homeless people worldwide is difficult to determine due to variations in definitions and reporting methods. However, the United Nations estimates that over 150 million people are homeless globally, representing about 2% of the world's population. Additionally, over 1.6 billion people lack adequate housing. Efforts by governments to address homelessness. 1. India. Programs like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana aim to provide affordable housing for all by 2024. Night shelters, rain baseras, are provided in cities, but they are insufficient for the demand. 2. United States. The Housing First model prioritizes permanent housing over temporary shelters. Federal funding supports homeless shelters, transitional housing, and affordable housing initiatives. 3. Nigeria. Government efforts are minimal. Most support comes from NGOs and religious organizations. Evictions of informal settlements worsen the crisis. 4. China. The government provides temporary shelters but lacks a robust national strategy for homelessness. Urbanization has led to informal housing in cities. 5. Russia. Few government programs exist. NGOs like Noklezhka provide support. Homeless people often face stigma and legal barriers. 6. Brazil. Programs like Minha Casa Minha Vida provide low-cost housing. However, corruption and poor implementation limit effectiveness. 7. Indonesia. Some government housing initiatives exist, but they primarily target urban areas. Homeless people rely on makeshift shelters. 8. Pakistan. Temporary shelters are set up during natural disasters. Long-term housing solutions are rare, leaving many in precarious conditions. 9. South Africa. Social housing initiatives exist, but demand far exceeds supply. Homeless individuals rely on informal settlements. 10. Philippines. Programs like Balik Provincia encourage people to return to rural areas. Many homeless people live in slums vulnerable to typhoons and floods. Where do homeless people go during rains, storms, or floods? Shelters. In countries with better infrastructure, homeless shelters may provide refuge during extreme weather, but availability is often limited. Public spaces. Many take shelter in train stations, under bridges, or in temporary shacks, evacuation centers. During natural disasters, governments may set up emergency shelters, though these are often overcrowded. Nowhere. In regions with inadequate support, people remain exposed to the elements, leading to injuries or fatalities. Access to basic needs. Bathing and toilets. Public facilities. Homeless individuals often use public restrooms and showers where available. Shelters. Those in shelters may have limited access to bathing and toilet facilities. Improvised solutions. Many resort to unhygienic methods, increasing their risk of disease. Medical facilities. Free clinics. In some countries, homeless individuals can access free or subsidized healthcare. NGOs and mobile units. Non-profits often provide essential medical care. Barriers. Lack of identification documents often prevents access to formal healthcare systems. Sexual activity and reproduction. Privacy issues. Homeless individuals rarely have private spaces, making sexual activity challenging. Unprotected sex. Limited access to contraceptives leads to unprotected sex, resulting in unplanned pregnancies. Social risks. Women often face exploitation and assault, sometimes leading to pregnancies under traumatic circumstances. Challenges in producing and raising children. Homeless parents struggle to access prenatal care, leading to high rates of infant mortality. Homeless children often lack education, healthcare, and proper nutrition, perpetuating the cycle of poverty. Social services in some countries intervene to place homeless children in foster care or institutions, often separating families. A major reason for homeless in some countries is that men don't work but they force their women to work outdoors, which affect their livelihood and sources of income to buy houses. Males staying at home while women work outdoors. In certain countries, particularly in South Asia, e.g., Pakistan, Afghanistan, and parts of India. Societal and cultural norms can result in a gendered division of labor that disproportionately burdens women. Here's how it manifests. 1. Cultural norms and gender roles. In patriarchal societies, men are often seen as decision makers, even in impoverished households. But many may choose not to work due to societal acceptance of male authority regardless of contribution. Women, even from conservative backgrounds, often take up outdoor or labor-intensive roles to sustain the family while men may remain at home. This trend is visible in rural areas and urban slums where women work as domestic help in wealthier households, street vendors selling food, clothing, or other small goods, construction workers, carrying bricks, sand, or water. 2. Contributing factors to men not working. Unemployment or underemployment. Lack of education and limited job opportunities make men unwilling or unable to secure work. Substance abuse. In some cases, addiction to drugs or alcohol makes men unproductive and reliant on women's earnings. Societal acceptance. In some communities, it is socially acceptable for men to focus on religious or leisure activities while women bear the financial burden. Mental health, depression, untreated psychological conditions, or loss of self-esteem after job loss can lead men to withdraw from work. Women working outdoors despite risks. While women take on outdoor work, they face significant challenges, risks and exploitation, harassment. Women working in public spaces face high rates of sexual harassment. Low wages. They are often paid less than men for the same work. Perpetuating poverty. Dangerous conditions. Jobs in construction, scavenging, or street vending often expose them to physical harm, exhaustion, and extreme weather. Impact on families. Women's absence from home places additional strain on caregiving roles, with children often left unsupervised or pulled out of school to work. Women in these roles are more likely to face health issues, including malnutrition, fatigue, and chronic illness, reducing life expectancy. Examples in Pakistan and similar countries. In urban slums, many men in Pakistan's urban areas remain unemployed, while women take jobs as maids, nannies, or cleaners in middle-class households. Men often loiter in public spaces or focus on socializing, religious studies, or small-time political involvement. In rural areas, women in rural Pakistan frequently engage in agricultural work, brick kiln labor, or embroidery for income, while men may stay at home or engage minimally in seasonal farming. Natural disasters and poverty. During floods or other natural disasters, the burden on women increases as they often serve as caregivers while also working to rebuild family incomes. Global perspective on homelessness and gender work dynamics. While Pakistan's case is extreme due to cultural norms, similar dynamics exist in sub-Saharan Africa. Women often work in outdoor markets while men are less economically active. Parts of the Middle East. Conservative gender norms limit men's active participation in manual or lower status jobs, while women become primary breadwinners. In such societies, women disproportionately bear the burden of supporting the family economically, despite cultural norms that expect them to remain within the home. This phenomenon exacerbates gender inequality, creates intergenerational poverty, and adds unique challenges to homelessness and survival in these contexts. Homelessness is not an unsolvable problem. It is a crisis that reflects the priorities and compassion of society. By addressing its root causes, supporting innovative solutions, and humanizing those affected, we can transform lives and rebuild communities. Every story of homelessness is a reminder of humanity's resilience and the power of hope. Let us not look away, because when we solve homelessness, we rediscover the best in ourselves.